Vanakkam Dohodeva. Welcome everyone. Nice to be with you today. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Start by sharing the screen. And it should say first topic. Improving our character. Our first topic today. It's a publisher's desk from 2012. Subtitle: If we start at the beginning and work systematically, we can replace undesirable qualities with their opposites. This publisher's desk was written based upon seeing a general need among Hindus and non-Hindus alike to have a better understanding that spiritual progress only occurs when someone has a strong foundation of good character. Sometimes there's no connection in the mind of Hindus between what they do at the temple, what they do at the satsang, and what they do at home. They're very religious at the temple, very religious satsang, but at home they're yelling a lot and arguing, etc. So that's not what we want. That's not having a foundation of good character. Spiritual life is not different from the rest of life. It is just the best of life. Imagine a woman hears that Ramakrishna saw God as clearly as we see an apple in our hand, or a man hears of great yogis who realize the truth of the universe in a life-transforming avalanche of light, culminating in a sense of oneness of it all. Seeing this, the man or woman might decide to meditate for days on a mountaintop or in a cave. They might fast for days or practice severe austerities, go on arduous pilgrimages, and practice mystic mantras for hours on end. Would they succeed by these efforts? Probably not. Real life offers a key for the journey. Imagine someone who goes to a piano concert and hears the world's greatest artist. The music is mesmerizing, the pianist's skill is flawless, soaring perfect, and our listener decides, this is my path. This is what I want to do. Sits at the piano attempting to equal the master's work. But great music does not resound. No matter how many hours are spent, no matter how sincere the effort, he cannot achieve what he heard at the concert. Why? He does not realize the work required to reach that level of expertise. To be successful, it is vital to start at the beginning of the path, not in the middle or at the end. If the fundamentals are skipped, our efforts will not yield sustainable spiritual progress. In the case of the pianist, the fundamentals are music theory, neural and muscular training, development and memorization, cultivating an interpretive ear, and practice, practice, practice. It is no different in spiritual life. The great ones did not sit in a cave and in short time attain enlightenment. They worked on themselves for years, decades. They did sadhana. They changed their habits, their desires, their reactions, their very character. If we wish to achieve what they achieved, we must do the same. We must work for it. The fundamentals, the foundation upon which our spiritual growth rests, is our character. What exactly is character? I should have stuck a question in here, so I'll just do it verbally. How would you define what is character? Here's my definition. Character is the sum total of mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Those both mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. The sum total of all of those is someone's character. On the spiritual path, the first phase of effort is to build, improve, and transform our character. Gurudeva observed, "It is true that bliss comes from meditation, and it is true that higher consciousness is the heritage of all mankind. However, the 10 restraints, yamas, and their corresponding practices, niyamas, are necessary to maintain bliss consciousness, as well as all of the good feelings toward oneself and others attainable in any incarnation. These restraints and practices build character." So that's why they're first. First the yamas and the niyamas, before we try anything more advanced. Character is the foundation for spiritual unfoldment. The fact is, the higher we go, the lower we can fall. The top chakras spin fast. The lowest one available to us spins even faster. The platform of character must be built within our lifestyle to maintain the total contentment needed to persevere on the path. These great rishis saw the frailty of human nature and gave these guidelines, or disciplines, to make it strong. They said, strive. Let's strive to not hurt others, to be truthful, and honor all the rest of the virtues they outlined. Chinmayanandaji, founder of Chinmaya Mission, directly related spiritual growth to character transformation. If we organize our life in such a way so as to discover the great potential within us, and if we order our behavior so as to nurture and nourish that potential, our life will be well spent. Our success lies in the amount of transformation we can bring about in our character and behavior. So very, very direct there. He's talking very high philosophy, and then he brings it down to actually achieving those high inner experiences requires the transformation we can bring about in our character and behavior. Gurudeva explained, to build character to act in accordance with the yamas, a person has to realize that, having acted instinctively, he experienced consequences that he does not want to experience again. So now he realizes that he should follow these restraints and not go through those consequences again. This is the foundation. Without this foundation, there is no spiritual growth, no fruit. Trying to realize the highest realizations before laying this foundation would be like taking a lime tree that was cut off from its roots and putting it into a bucket and expecting it to bear fruit. Of course, it will not. That's a nice one. Taking a lime tree that was cut off from its roots, putting it into a bucket, expecting it to bear fruit. Each of us has many character qualities. A character quality is a habit, a usual pattern or way of thinking, speaking, or acting. Most people have a mixture of positive character qualities, such as being enthusiastic, punctual, dependable, kindly, or sincere, and negative qualities, such as being sarcastic, lazy, tardy, or deceptive. So we're not trying to say some people are totally filled with negative qualities and some are totally positive. We're saying people are generally a mixture, some positive qualities and some negative qualities. We have all heard the common excuse for negative character and qualities. That's the way I am. What can I do about it? So that is a problem if someone thinks they can't change, or if someone is unwilling to change. Of course, the younger you are, the easier it is to change. Hinduism teaches that the character we are born with in this life is the result of the sum total of our actions in previous lives. The seeds of one life, like an acorn, grow into a mighty oak tree in another. Nice graphics. Some individuals are clearly pious from birth, while others are of a mixed nature. And still others are self-centered and devious. However, Hinduism also teaches that we can change the character qualities we are born with. So that's important. We can change them. There's nothing permanent about them. They're just accumulated over many lives. We can change them through self-reflection and effort, by observing and controlling how we think and act in the present, and by repetition of positive thoughts and actions. The more often we express and reflect on the character quality we desire to cultivate, the stronger it will become. Accepting the idea that we can change a negative character quality, such as laziness, is a necessary first step. Once that perspective is held, the following four-step approach to developing the opposing positive character quality is helpful. 1. Understand the positive quality. 2. Cognize its expressions. 3. Realize its benefits. 4. Practice its expressions. In utilizing this process, we can keep in mind the following principle from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. For the repelling of unwholesome thoughts, their opposites should be cultivated. Unwholesome thoughts, such as harming someone and so forth, whether done, caused to be done, or approved, whether arising from greed, anger, or infatuation, whether mild, moderate, or extreme, never cease to ripen into ignorance and suffering. This is why one must cultivate their opposite. So that's making a very interesting point. We don't have to actually be the one to harm someone for a negative karma to come to us. If we were involved in any way in helping that action take place, then we have some degree of karma in it, not as much as the person who harmed them usually, but if we approved it or instigated it, then there's a negative karma that comes to us as well. Let's see how this four-step process can be utilized to replace laziness with industriousness. First, understand the positive quality. Make sure you have a clear understanding of the character quality you wish to cultivate, and affirm that you are strong enough to make the changes you want in life. A good way to approach this is to define it in your own words. Let us define industriousness. It's hard-working, willing to work long hours to finish a project. Its opposite, laziness, is a disinclination to work hard, preferring to remain idle. Then meditate on the positive quality. Second, cognize its expressions. Make a list of thoughts, words, attitudes, and behaviors that are representative of people who possess the positive quality. Then make a parallel list for the opposite trait. Industriousness, do the task now. Laziness, postpone the task. Industriousness, work late to finish. Laziness, stop as early as possible. Industriousness, maximize productivity. Laziness, do the minimum. Third, list the benefits of having the quality. This can include insights into the problems caused when its opposite is followed. Industriousness, greater ability to serve family and community, opportunities for career advancement. Appreciation from associates, enhance self-esteem, avoid criticism. Scripture can provide insights. The Tirukural offers valuable thoughts on industriousness, saying, good fortune of its own accord ferrets out and finds the man of unflagging energy. So you attract good fortune by being industrious. Of laziness it warns, procrastination, forgetfulness, sloth, and sleep. These four shape the ship bearing those destined for ruin. Sounds pretty ominous, destined for ruin. Fourth, practice its expressions. Begin to regularly practice the actions that will develop the habit pattern of the positive character quality. Observe closely as you begin to experience the benefits that result. Set realistic goals. Be careful not to set the goal too high, lest you fall short, become discouraged, and give up the effort. For the quality of industriousness, focus on increasing your productivity for the day by 5%. This can be accomplished by working faster, working longer, or a combination of both. Follow these simple steps and slowly character will evolve and the many traits that define you will be transformed, bringing a deeper spirituality and a more secure material existence to your daily life. Remember, consistency is the key to the conquest of karma. So checking the time here. 20 after to 20 of us, about a little less than 20 minutes. Okay, we have time for part 2. I wasn't sure how long that one would take. Second topic is drawn from Character Building Workbook. So a number of times in this presentation, I'm going to ask you to write down some answers to a question, and therefore take a minute to get some paper and pen or a digital equivalent. So there's lots of questions in this one, so you really need something to write down your answers on. Today we are looking at the first character quality, which is abstemiousness. That's a big word, abstemiousness. Character Building Workbook gives the 4-step approach to developing a positive character. Understand the positive quality, cognize its expressions, realize its benefit, practice its expression. So we just did that, went through that in part 1 with industriousness versus laziness. So this is a repeat of that idea. First step, understand the positive quality. This is done by defining abstemiousness in your own words. So you can do that. How would you define abstemiousness? Abstemiousness means being moderate in eating and drinking, I strengthen it by exercising willpower when I am tempted to eat too much. Eating a vegetarian diet has a moderating impact not only on the body but on the environment as well. The opposite is gluttony. So this is parallel to Mitahara. We'll see it later on, the Yama of Mitahara. Gurudeva wrote it up. So it doesn't just have the quantity that we eat, but what we eat is included as well. So in this one, it's talking about vegetarian. So we don't eat too much, and we eat the right foods, which are vegetarian foods. Gurudeva observed, overeating repels one from spiritual sadhana because the body becomes slothful and lazy, having to digest so much food and run it through its system. A vegetarian diet creates the right chemistry for spiritual life. Other diets create a different chemistry, which affects your endocrine glands and your entire system all day long. A vegetarian diet helps your system all day long. Food is chemistry, and chemistry affects consciousness. And if our goal is higher consciousness, we have to provide the chemistry that evokes it. As I mentioned, abstemiousness is the same concept as the yama of mitahara, moderate appetite. That's defined as be moderate in appetite, neither eating too much nor consuming meat, fish, shellfish, fowl, or eggs. Enjoy fresh, wholesome vegetarian foods that revitalize the body. Avoid junk food. So yes, this is a little bit broader than we put in the workbook. The workbook is very limited to the number of words you can use, small space. So this is talking about avoiding junk food, bringing in a new idea. Drink in moderation, eat at regular times, only when hungry. At a moderate pace, never between meals in the disturbed atmosphere or when upset. Follow a simple diet, avoiding rich or fancy fare. So simplicity is good. Okay, second step, cognize its expressions. List 2 or more thoughts, words, attitudes, and behaviors that are representative of people who possess the positive quality. Then make a parallel list for the opposite trait. So 2 or more thoughts, words, attitudes, and behaviors for those who practice abstemiousness. Number 3, realize its benefits. List 2 or more of the benefits of having the quality. This can include insights into the problems caused when its opposite is followed. Scripture can provide insights. The Tudakara offers valuable thoughts on abstemiousness, which we'll look at next. 2 or more benefits you can list. From Chapter 95, Medicine. Once digestion is complete, eat with moderation. That is the way to prolong the life of the body. So that's a very important point. And notice this is in Chapter 95, Medicine. And one of the major themes of the chapter is our health depends upon our eating habits. And if we don't digest what we eat fully, it causes some type of illness in the body. So this is suggesting eat with moderation, and once the previous meal is complete. So we want to be very careful not to eat too soon after the last meal. Sometimes if you're visiting people's homes, you're getting fed too frequently and you don't have a chance to digest what you just ate before you eat again. So that's not an ideal situation. Perhaps you can just stick to coffee or tea if you haven't digested what you ate. The thoughtless glutton who gorges himself beyond the limits of his digestive fires will be consumed by limitless ills. So it's going to get sick. We have to fully digest what we eat. And eating too much is one way to not be able to do that. And the other subject from chapter 26, abstaining from eating meat. How can he practice true compassion who eats the flesh of an animal to fatten his own flesh? So, advocating vegetarianism in a very strong way. Chapter 26. Oh, fourth practice. Practice its expressions. Begin to regularly practice the actions that will develop the habit pattern of the positive character quality. Observe closely as you begin to experience the benefits that result. Set realistic goals. Be careful not to set the goal too high, lest you fall short. So those of you who have heard me talk about the character qualities before, one of my important points is there are different ways for children and for adults to approach the character qualities. For children, they should go through them all 64, understand what they are and put them into practice. For adults will be doing some of them extremely well, others fairly well, and some definitely need improvement. So though we'll be going through all 64, the idea is for adults, not to try and do all 64, but notice the ones that stand out as an area that you could really use improvement in. I'd like to joke about punctuality. You may have heard this before, but punctuality is the most unappreciated character quality. Do you know why? Because though you arrive on time, no one else is there to realize that you did. They're all late. So it's the most unappreciated character quality. Thank you very much. Oh.